Hey there, everybody. I'm bored, so I want to talk about some ways to deal with killer anxiety. Now, typically, this is something that a lot of newer players feel, um, especially when first time playing killer. Um, and it could even be people who have thousands of hours in Survivor. They're pretty confident with their Survivor, but they never really played killer, so they have this expectation to do really well. Um, and this is something I want to get into because I recently have switched from console to PC. So I've never really played Killer until just recently. Um, but I do have a list here that may help a lot of people. Yeah, let's get started talking about that. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is that it's okay to lose. If you're learning killer, or if you're new to the game in general, you can't go in with these crazy expectations that you're going to 3k 4k every match. Most likely you'll actually get either one kill or two kills, which is completely fine anyways. But the point is, you should more so focus on learning the game or learning the killer, instead of trying to win off the bat, or expecting yourself to come with crazy plays, and maps you're learning, killer you're learning, all this stuff. Your goal really should be not to win the matches right away, but to learn the killer you're playing, learn the basics, the little things, um, things that'll just help you get better in general. Um, because yeah, it's you shouldn't really feel bad about losing a game when you're just learning the killer. You could take a P100 Wesker and put him in his first game as Trapper, and he's going to be in the exact same boat. He's going to learn the killer, you know, not go into the match with expectations that he's going to kill everyone, but really just learning how the Trapper works, learning what what are good maps for this killer, things like that. Another thing I want to bring up is emotional intelligence and understanding that. Now, this is a bit of an advanced skill for some people, especially, younger people. Um, but essentially, what emotional intelligence is being able to understand your emotions. Now, with emotional intelligence, you can set the right expectations, either before a match or as a match is going on. Like, for example, if someone's bringing in a flashlight, okay, I see this person's bringing in a flashlight, they could click at me. Um, I need to not let that upset me, something like that. That's just an example. Really, people can't do that anymore. But understanding emotional intelligence will help you not just in the game, but in life, where you expect a certain outcome and you prepare yourself for that, and to not be upset when said outcome happens. Um, but emotional intelligence can really prepare you for what to expect, and to not be as upset, to not be surprised as to what you're going through. Now, I want to segue into being self aware of reality. Now, this could be a bit black and white to some people, but I think it could still help in the POV that, um, at the end of the day, you are just playing a game with other people. This isn't heart surgery. It's not, something to really ruin your whole day, or, take with you in life. If you lose a match, you shouldn't be contemplating at night, thinking at night, why did why did I lose that match? Why is this happening to me? If it's something like you can't pay your bills on time, or this person's really mad at me, my friendship could end. Those are things that should really have anxiety, or those are valid things to be concerned about. But as far as this game, you can't let it control you like that. And you need to be just aware. You need to have that emotional intelligence with you. Things like that on a certain level of maturity you need to have, and not just with this game, but honestly with any online PvP game, you have to be just prepared and mature enough to know that you can't let this bother you in your real life. Another underrated strategy is one that's right under our noses, but it would be to just continue to play the game or, watch content creators. My personal favorites are Otstarva, Tofu, Scott Jund, and Hens, because they're, for one, amazing at the game and amazing people. But they really know what they're doing, and they have, man, too many videos to count that, explains what they're doing, or, even just going against some good teams. Um, they're very knowledgeable people on the game. Um, and just the more time you familiarize yourself with the game, you're gonna get better at it. I mean, there's no way not to get better if you're, paying attention and taking note of what they do, why they do it, which I know Otz is very good at explaining those things. Um, but yeah, just watching those people play the game, especially as killer, it helps you learn a lot more macro gameplay, which, is understanding what's going on the map. Um, where were people last seen, how many gens are done. It's pretty much gameplay that doesn't have to do with the chase itself, but um, what's going on and what's the situation, like things like that. So either by playing more or watching great content creators like the ones I mentioned, um, will help you just understand more. Now, this one is a bit of copium and will probably make some of the experienced players laugh. But when I was first learning Killer, I did have anonymous mode on for everybody, including myself. That way, it was it was kind of like a PVE mode, where you don't see the gamer tags, which is it's kind of silly. It was a lot of copium, but that's something that helped me feel better when I was first getting into Killer. Um, and something you can do along with that is running low to mid tier characters. Now, the reason behind that is, let's say if you're just trying to learn the game and you don't want to play someone so oppressive because you're afraid of doing poorly with a great killer like Ghoul. If you're running someone like Skull Merchant, if you lose, so what? You're a Skull Merchant. But if you end up winning, it's like, well, holy shit, I just won with Skull Merchant. Um, but more importantly, to take from that is you run the low to mid tier killers. You're going to be able to understand the game better and learn better. Whereas if you're playing someone like Ghoul or like Blight, you don't really learn loops the same way. So this one could be good in, I suppose, either like trying to convince yourself it's more like a PVE mode with anonymous mode, um, or running low to mid tier killers, which is what I recommend if you're trying to learn. That way, you learn to play the game the right way, especially when you eventually get to higher ranks. Now, a lot of people will feel demoralized or super tilted that they go against a stacked team. Um, and I want to make it clear that the game, for the most part, is balanced and a lot better than it used to be for sure. Um, but there are still some maps or some perks that are a little bit crazy. Like Shane's perk that just came out is a little nuts. Cross examination, or going against a full team running DS, Unbreakable, Dead Heart, you name it. Now the game for the most part is balanced, but if you're going against a team that's running all the strongest perks, toolboxes, and you're just bringing in a build to have fun or bringing in a killer just to have fun, you shouldn't feel bad about losing games like those, because if one side really wants to win and the other side is just playing casually, then more likely than not, whoever whichever side is stacked is going to win that game. Uh, Now it's not impossible for them for you to win if the survivors are stacked if you play really well, but you shouldn't be upset about them, catching you off guard and winning when they're bringing in the strongest stuff. Now, this goes without saying, but the more you play the game, that horror and, ambiance aspect of it will go away, but the game is going to be a lot more enjoyable. It'll feel like chess. And it's going to be fun for both sides, whenever you can uh, make very good plays against their good plays. And it'll be a lot more back and forth rather than just, a noob stomping session. Um, but yeah, the more you play the game, it's going to feel a lot better, especially the more you learn. You're going to play smarter and you're going to learn from your mistakes through playing or, again, watching content creators that I mentioned earlier. Um, but it definitely will get better. You have no reason to quit the game after a few bad matches. I think DBD actually hit its all-time player count with that 10th anniversary. So just keep playing. You'll get better over time. And then moving on, going forward, there's going to be new players just like you were once, and you could stomp them and link them this video, and I'm sure they'll check it out. But more importantly, just enjoy the game and learn, play for fun. Don't take it so seriously. I personally have tried to, I don't know, I had super high expectations at first to play really well, and the more I watched and played the game, I realized, there's no real reward for being number one, being at the top. So just play for fun and enjoy the game. Um, Otherwise, you can ruin it for yourself if you're trying to sweat every match and win every match. It's not necessarily worth it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for today. This stuff has been pretty hot recently, especially with Spooky Loop's new video out. So if there are newer players looking for some guidance, I hope I provided that to you. Or maybe survivors who have played the game for a long time that haven't touched Killer yet. I hope this video finds them well. And yeah, I guess I hope I have more things to say in the future, discuss about, or things going on in the stream, challenges, whatever. I will find my niche and stick to it. But that is all I have for today. You guys have a good one. See ya.